Alright, how's it going everybody? It's Joseph here. Welcome back to another Need for Speed Most Wanted video. Welcome to the final installment of ranking Blacklist cars. Today I'm going to be testing and ranking all 15 Blacklist cars, including Raj's GTO, and ranking them from worst to best as always. But this time I'm going to be doing a couple of things different. So, as the title suggests, every car will be fully upgraded, including having the unique Junkman parts. And instead of using automatic transmission and keyboard, I'll actually be using manual transmission with my controller. And just like the last video, every car will be tested in one lap around the Little Italy circuit track. Each car will be tested 3 times and will be ranked based on its fastest lap time. And also, I forgot to mention again that every car will be tuned with +5 steering and +5 aero. So without further ado, let's get into the countdown. So at number 15 we got Kaze COK 500, which did a lap time of 1 minute 7 seconds and 94 milliseconds. And honestly, not even Junkman parts can save this car's terrible handling. It understeers like hell, the grip is practically non-existent on this car, and it just overall sucks at taking corners. If you're going to use this car, use it for pursuits. I will say it's pretty good at pursuits, but don't bother using it for racing. Number 14 we got Big Lou's Eclipse, which did a lap time of 1 minute 7 seconds and 50 milliseconds, and just like Kaze COK 500, the major thing that kills this car is the understeer. That coupled with its sluggish feeling acceleration just make this car terrible altogether. As I said in my first Blacklist ranking video, never cared for this car, never cared for the way it looks, and definitely don't care for the way it drives. In the number 13 spot, yet again, we have Vic's Toyota Supra, which did a lap time of 1 minute 7 and 4 milliseconds. Vic just can't seem to get out of the number 13 spot, can he? But anyways, the Supra is a okay car all around. I mean, it does tend to slide a little bit, but other than that, it does take corners pretty decently. And the only thing I would say is that while the acceleration is somewhat decent, the top speed on this car just doesn't feel there at all. At number 12 we have Ronnie's DB9, which did a lap time of 1 minute 7.01 seconds. And just like Kaze COK 500, this car is heavy, has bad handling, understeers like crazy. The only difference between the two cars I would say is that Kaze's car is a little bit better at acceleration, while Ronnie's has a little bit better top speed. Number 11 we have Izzy's RX-8, which did a lap time of 1 minute 6 seconds and 96 milliseconds. And some of you have told me you really like the way that Izzy's car handles, and I just don't see it. This car understeers pretty bad for me. It's not as bad as the COK 500 or the DB9, but it is really noticeable, and the acceleration is just meh. Number 10 we have Taz's IS300, which did a lap time of 1 minute 6 seconds 22 milliseconds. And this car kind of surprised me, both on this test run and the last one. Because when you get it at the beginning of the game, I'll be honest, it's not very good. It's kind of slow and it handles poorly. But once you fully upgrade it, it actually is a pretty well-rounded car. Not the best, not the worst, just decent overall. Number 9 we have Jules Mustang, which did a lap time of 1 minute 5 seconds and 91 milliseconds, and a lot of people say they don't like the handling on this car, but I have to disagree, because the handling on this car in my opinion is really solid overall. It takes corners pretty well for me in my opinion, but it is a little bit on the slow side, so there is that. Number 8 we got Earl's Evo, which did a lap time of 1 minute 5.10 seconds. And I don't want to say I was disappointed by this car, but I did expect just a little bit better, especially when you consider how much of a beast it is in straightaways and in medium speed corners. But when it comes to the sharper corners, it does understeer a little bit, and that is what kills this car 100%. Now, one car I was a little bit disappointed in is Baron's Porsche, which placed 7th with a lap time of 1 minute 4 seconds and 87 milliseconds, which is kind of astonishing to me because this car actually managed to place top 4 last time. But the steering actually felt heavier for me this time around. I don't know if that was driver error or what went wrong, Still one of my favorite cars overall, it's just nothing special. Number 6, we have JV's Viper, which ran only 0.2 seconds faster than Barron's Cayman S. And I would say that this car is pretty solid overall, with a pretty good cornering ability and a good top speed as well. The only thing is, I would say that the gear ratios are a bit tall on this car in my opinion, which makes it feel just a little bit sluggish when it's exiting corners. Number 5, we have Webster's Corvette, which did a lap time of 1 minute 4 seconds 51 milliseconds. Overall, I would say again that this car is pretty similar to the Viper, but the acceleration is just a little bit better in my opinion. At number 4, we have Bull's SLR, which did a lap time of 1 minute 3.91, which is a huge improvement over the last video. And whereas Junkman parts didn't really seem to improve Kaze's car's handling at all, this did the exact opposite and made it, in my opinion, one of the best handling Blacklist cars on this list. Number 3, we have Ming's Lamborghini Gallardo, which did a lap time of 1 minute 3 seconds 57 milliseconds. And just when I thought this car couldn't get any faster or surprise me anymore, I was almost instantly proved wrong. If you think Ming's Lamborghini is amazing as is, add Junkman parts and I promise you it will blow you away. The tiniest bit of understeer that used to be on there is gone completely, and on top of that, it corners like it's on rails now, and it is just super fast. In fact, this was only one of 2 cars to beat the M3 GTR's original lap time on Little Italy before I put Junkman parts on it. At number 2, yet again, we have Sonny's Golf GTI, which did a lap time of 1 minute 3 seconds 47 milliseconds. And as a wise man once said, the Golf is better, and he wasn't lying. This car just continues to amaze me. It handles like an absolute champ, the acceleration is phenomenal as well. I feel like I can take almost any corner just flat out, hardly having to press the brakes. And if you've watched my previous 2 ranking videos already, you should already know what car comes in at number 1. Yet again, the M3 GTR takes first place with a lap time of 1 minute and 97 milliseconds. I almost thought about not putting the Junkman upgrades on the M3 because it almost feels unfair because you can't add Junkman upgrades to it in the vanilla most wanted, but then I decided to add them on anyways because why not? And you know, it's honestly kind of a shame that you can't really mess with the performance settings on this car, because if I could make the steering just a little bit more responsive, I have a feeling that it could easily do a lap on Little Italy in less than a minute. And of course, as a bonus car, we have Raj's GTO, which did a lap time of 1 minute 7 seconds and 87 milliseconds. And this car is pretty much in the same boat as the Aston Martin and the CLK. It's a very heavy car with somewhat slippery handling and sluggish acceleration, but as I said for the CLK 500, it's decent for pursuits. So if you're looking to use a different pursuit car, you don't feel like using the Evo, don't feel like using the Mustang, you didn't win the CLK 500 or the DB9, go with the GTO.